Today, Year 1, we're going to be making papier-mâché bowls, just like these examples that I've been making this morning. Now, these are still drying, so I've had them out in the sun drying. You're going to make bowls like these, and then next week we will be painting those bowls. Here are some examples of some painted bowls. You'll be painting your bowls and designing the outside of them. Okay, so this is quite a messy project and you need quite a lot of equipment. So here is all the equipment that you might need. Now, before I tell you about the equipment, I just want to explain something about these bowls. You need to line the bowl that you use. You're going to use a real bowl. You need to line it either with cling film, like I've got here, and then use some sticky tape, or with silver foil, and then put a tiny drop of oil on the silver foil. That's just to stop the papier-mâché sticking to the bowl for good, okay? Now, you don't need to use both. You need to decide if you have cling film, you can use cling film. If you have silver foil, you can use silver foil. Okay, so let me show you the things that you need. You will need a bowl, you will need a cup of flour, some water, a bit of tape, some white paper, an old newspaper, scissors, and either cling film and a little drop of oil, or instead of cling film, you can use silver foil, and I will show you both ways of doing it. Okay, so this is what we need to do to get started. First of all, you need to, let me move all of my equipment I don't need at the moment out of the way. First of all, what you are going to do is you're going to take the bowl, and if you have cling film to use, what you need to do is turn your bowl over and line the bowl with the cling film. Now, if you line the bowl with the cling film, this just stops the newspaper and the papier-mâché from sticking to the bottom of the bowl for good, so you can't get it off. So it just means you can remove the papier-mâché easily. And what you do is you just press it against the sides so that it's all covered. Make sure it sits right at the bottom, so you might want to press it down with another bowl to make sure that it's stuck to the bottom. Press it all down and attach it to the bottom with a little bit of masking tape. And this just stops the papier-mâché sticking. Okay, so I'm going to attach it that way at the bottom. I'm going to attach it there. And I'm going to attach it there. Okay, so that's one way to line your bowl. If you are using foil, this is what you would do. You take your piece of foil, you put your foil inside the bowl, press it right against the sides, so it hits all the sides, and then wrap it around, right around the sides, and then you can add just a little drop of oil, tiny amount of oil, and that you wipe around all the edges of the foil, and that will stop the papier-mâché sticking. So you choose, are you going to do cling film or are you going to do foil? It doesn't matter which you use, okay? I'm going to stick with the foil one today. Okay. The next thing you need to do in preparation for doing your papier-mâché is to cut up some white pieces of paper and also some newspaper. Okay, so I'm going to do the newspaper first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few sheets of newspaper together. I'm going to get my scissors. I'm going to cut the newspaper into strips, and they need to be about this width, so about 1 to 2 centimeters wide. Okay, once you've cut lots of pieces of newspaper that way, so I'm going to cut right across the sheet. Once you've cut plenty of newspaper, you can then slice it into sections about this big. Okay, and what you need to do is you need to place them in a bowl, and they will be ready to use later for the project. Okay, in another bowl you need to take some white paper and do exactly the same. So here I go, got my white paper, I'm going to cut it into strips, and in another bowl I'm going to store all of my white paper. Okay, and then you have all the paper ready to do your papier-mâché. Okay, so you've got your bowl ready, you've got your newspaper ready, you've got your white paper ready, and then the last thing you need to have ready is the papier-mâché, the actual glue that will stick the paper to the bowl. Okay, and to do this you need your flour, you need water, a little bit of salt, and then you need a bowl to put the papier-mâché mixture into. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly take off the cling film from this bowl, and there's my bowl that I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my cup of flour into the bowl, and then what I need to do is I need to add 2 cups of water. So 1, now I'm not going to add all of this, I'm going to add a little bit of it, and then I'm going to get a spoon to mix it. So let me just get my spoon because I've forgotten it. And in fact, year 1, I'm going to use a fork because a fork will help me to get rid of the lumps. So I'm just going to mix it until all of the lumps have gone. Okay, it'll take a little bit of time. And once you've mixed it, it will turn and got rid of the lumps, because you don't want big lumps in your papier-mâché. So I'm going to mix it until all the lumps have gone. Can I find any lumps? Yes, there's still some lumps there. Mix, 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 mix. And then once it is mixed, it'll start to get a little bit thicker. And you want the mixture to be just a little bit thicker than this. It needs to be a bit gloopy. Okay, so I've mixed it up so there are no lumps in it. I'm going to pour in just a handful of salt, and the salt stops the mixture going mouldy, so it's good to add when you live in a hot country like Oman. So you're going to beat it all together so there are no lumps, and then you are ready to get started. Now I'm actually just going to leave it for a few seconds, few minutes maybe, so it gets a little bit thicker, so it's just right for doing my papier-mâché. So whilst I am waiting for my papier-mâché mix to be ready, be a little bit thicker, I'm going to get everything I need to do my papier-mâché ready on my table. So I need my covered bowl, I need my newspaper pieces, I need my white paper pieces, and I think that is everything I need to get started. Okay, so let's get going. Now what you have to do is you have to put on 4 layers of paper onto the bowl, okay? And you have to do it in a very careful way. So this is the way you need to do it. What you do is you're going to start with using the old newspaper. You're going to dip the old newspaper 1 piece at a time. Now can you see it's all dripping into the bowl? What you're going to do is you're going to get scissor fingers like this, and you're going to make the scissor fingers go down the paper to get rid of all the drips, and then you're going to stick the piece of newspaper on the bottom, and you're going to press it down really well so that it fits exactly into the bowl. And then you're going to get your next bit, scissor fingers to get rid of the drips, and then what you need to do is overlap the two pieces of newspaper, so there are no gaps between the newspaper, so you overlap them. That means you need to put 1 piece of newspaper on top of the other so it covers. There's no gaps in between them. You put them right on top of each other. Okay, and you need to keep doing this. Keep laying bits of paper on until you have covered, use your scissor fingers, the whole bowl. Now when I do the sides, I'm not going to lay it flat like this. I'm going to turn it so it's facing upwards. So that means I can cover more of the bowl in a shorter time. So I'm going to just put on this first layer. I'm going to make sure I'm still overlapping, dip, scissor fingers, overlap. And it doesn't matter if the paper sticks out of the top of the bowl. Dip, scissor fingers, overlap with the last piece of paper and make it nice and smooth against the bowl. Paper, dip, scissor fingers, lie it, overlap it, no gaps, and nice and smooth. And I'm going to keep doing this until I have gone right around that bowl. So I'm going to leave you now to finish that so it goes right around the bowl, year 1. So year 1, I've covered my whole bowl in a layer of newspaper. Now that I've done that, I need to add another few layers, but this time, instead of using newspaper, I'm going to use white paper. And this helps me to see and to check that I've covered the whole space, so I can see if there's any newspaper showing between the white, that means I haven't done a good job of covering the whole space. Okay, so also the white paper makes it easier to paint the bowl after you have finished, okay? So here we go, you're going to do exactly the same process. So dip, scissor fingers, and then lie the piece of paper on top nice and flat. And again, you're going to cover the whole area, overlapping each bit of the papier-mâché inside. And you need to cover, again, the whole bowl. So once you've done the middle bit, you can put the paper at the sides, okay? So again, I'm going to leave you to finish that year 1, okay? Now, year 1, I've finished off my white layer now. Now, this, when it dries, this is not going to be very strong, this bowl, because I've only used 2 layers of papier-mâché. If you look at the one that I have finished, it's much stronger. And the reason it's much stronger is I didn't put 2 layers of papier-mâché in it. I put 6 layers. So I did newspaper, then a layer of white paper, then I did another layer of newspaper, another layer of white paper, and then I did another layer of newspaper and another layer of white paper. So I need to put 6 layers into my papier-mâché bowl, and then that will make it a bit stronger and it will look something like this. You'll have the white paper in the middle, okay? Once you have put your 6 layers into the bowl, then you need to put this in the sun or put it somewhere nice and warm to dry. And when it dries, it will go all hard and ready for next week when we get to paint our bowls, okay? So I look forward to seeing those finished bowls, Year 1, and we will continue with this project next week. Okay, good luck, Year 1, and see you next week. Bye.